Hey guys, Chris here. In today's video, we're going to talk about a topic that a lot of you guys might think is very controversial, a decision a lot of you guys might not like at all. We're going to talk about why Volvo have done this, and at the end of the video, does this really have implications, consequences for our daily lives? Does this really mean anything at all, or are we just being big crybabies about this? So as you might have read from the title, Volvo have now limited all their cars to a top speed, a maximum top speed of 180 kilometers an hour. That translates to 112 miles an hour. This is globally across all the brands. If you buy a Volvo now and have it delivered, it will have a limited top speed of 180 kilometers an hour. So why are Volvo doing this? Well, Volvo have since the 50s and 60s, throughout the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and now in the 2020s, have been and are going to be a leader in safety. Volvo have invented a lot of things, the seat belt amongst, they've been, on side impact protection, airbags, ABS, all this safety tech. Volvo have been in the forefront. Volvo have been testing and crash testing their vehicles extensively long before we had the Euro NCAP, long before we have had all these international organizations that test crashed cars. Volvo have been test crashing and putting safety at the forefront. So this is just another statement from Volvo, and they've been talking about before that within 2025 there won't be a single casualty in a new Volvo vehicle, and this is on their way to that mission. So that's why they want to reduce the top speed to 180 kilometers an hour, because one, it sends a message that Volvo are serious. They announced last year that this year they would be doing this, and now they're holding their promise of doing it. But they also want to communicate that Volvo still cares about safety. Volvo, realize that even though with all the safety tech we have today, with automatic emergency braking, collision mitigation, road leaving mitigation, with airbags, seat belts, all the safety tech, when you hit a certain speed, if you're driving fast enough, this tech just won't help you. It works up to a certain speed, and the public really isn't educated on this, that above a certain speed, this tech and all the safety features just doesn't work or work as intended. Reducing your speed just by 10 kilometers an hour, 6 miles an hour, heavily and highly, increases the chances of death and injury. Nobody's really talking about this. Volvo want to bring the discussion to the forefront, or at least they want to actively go out and communicate that, well, speed matters, speed kills. That really is the case. Well, you can argue that the speed doesn't kill, it's the sudden stop, but the higher the speed, the quicker the sudden stop, the higher the forces of that sudden stop. So Volvo are on a mission to have no casualties in their cars by 2025, if I remember that date. If not, I'm going to correct myself up there in the right corner. Oh, and guys, before we go forward and talk about does this really have implications for us, I want to ask you guys to please hit that subscribe button. I'm really trying to hit that 10,000 subscriber mark before the summer is over. And well, if you like these types of videos, please hit that thumbs up button. It really helps me a lot to give this video a like. And also, lastly, before we move on to the second portion of this video, please follow me on Instagram if you want to follow more of my car stuff, more of the renders I do there, and more of my personal life. The link is down below in the description. So, a top speed limit of 180 kilometers an hour, 112 miles an hour. Well, there's only one country in the world that has a speed limit that will, exceed that, and that is Germany, the de-restricted parts of the Autobahn. So not all parts of the Autobahn are de-restricted. Most of the parts have a speed limit of, I think, 130 kilometers an hour. So this really won't affect anybody that much, except for Germans wanting to, drive faster than 180 kilometers an hour, this can pose, well, not an issue, but well, it's a little boring for those guys that they can't, travel at a higher speed. It will really have an impact for, I think, car sales in Germany, or Volvo sales in Germany, because if you've ever driven on the Autobahn, traffic can flow very easily in the left lane at 180 to 200 kilometers an hour on the de-restricted parts. That's just normal. And also, left lane huggers, or people driving in the left lane, are usually 10, 20, 30 kilometers an hour above the speed limit. So with countries like 130 with 140 kilometers an hour speed limits, hovering 20 to 30 kilometers an hour above that isn't unusual. And I'm not, saying that you should do that. I'm just, describing the reality of motorways, especially around in Europe. You're really close to that 180 kilometer an hour speed limit. If you want to accelerate to get out of the way for a car, coming up in your rear end, a performance car from Mercedes, BMW, Audi, Porsche, that you'll see a lot on the Autobahn, you would want to accelerate to get out of the left lane as quickly as possible. That's just the culture of driving here in Europe. When you're in the left lane, it's the passing lane only, and if you have a car behind you, you either want to, just blink yourself into the right lane immediately, but if you are passing, you might want to just accelerate to get out of the way of that speeding car. So this just limits your possibilities to that, but I think for the rest of the world, the 99.99% of the rest of us, this really won't affect us at all. Here in Norway, the top speed on our motorways is 110 kilometers an hour. They might be, increasing that to 120 kilometers an hour in certain sections of new motorway, but we're really far away from that 180 kilometers an hour top speed, so it won't affect us at all. And also passing, well, if you're passing on a 2-lane, country road, hitting 180 kilometers an hour, even though you're passing and want to accelerate past a car as quickly as possible, you're still hitting a very high speed at 180 kilometers an hour. And if you're passing 10 cars, you might hit that, but if you're just passing 1, 2, or 3, you won't hit that speed at all. But the last part of the discussion is, should Volvo be able to dictate how fast we are able to drive, or should we as consumers, we as the people who buy their products, be the one who should be able to decide for ourselves if we want to hit that, or if the limit should be 180 kilometers an hour, or if there should be a different limit or no limit at all? Well, Volvo build their vehicles. A lot of cars have, stability control that you can't, fully defeat. And the automakers are making that decision for you. You're not able to fully turn off traction control or stability control in most cars, even though you think you are. Most cars just don't let you do that. I think in a world where we want to be more responsible, in a world where we're trying to, stop people dying in car accidents, I think the automakers should be able to limit their products in a way they find fit, that fits with their brand and their mission. If Volvo want to, limit their cars to 180 kilometers an hour, I think they should be able to do that. It's up to you as a consumer. If you don't like that decision, well, you protest by, voicing your opinion or by not buying their products. If enough people don't buy their products, well, that communicates very clearly that, this decision wasn't the right decision for them. But I don't think this decision by Volvo will give them negative blowback at all. Yes, it's controversial. People are, voicing their opinions, but I don't think it's a bad decision at all. Would I be able, or would I wish I could drive faster? Yes, maybe it could be GPS based. So on de-restricted parts of the Autobahn, you could go faster. That would be a very nice solution. But to the question, should you be able to decide yourself? Well, new Volvos delivered now will have something called Key Care, where you could program into the key or into the car the top speed of the car when you're loaning it away. So if you have a teenager at home who's just started driving, you can limit the top speed of that car. And I think that's just positive. So guys, what do you think? Do you think it's good or bad that Volvo are limiting their cars to 180 kilometers an hour? Do you think they are in their right to do it? Or do you think their cars should just be able to drive as fast as engine power and gear ratios allow them to do. Let me know in the comments down below. And as always, guys, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up down below. And for more car content like this, guys, please subscribe. See you guys later, and goodbye.
We'll be right back.